I am going live, just.
I didn't throw you under the bus. You know what's going on. Right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
No.
Making around.
I can clearly see Evan's face.
I know. One more night.
All right.
Last week.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We will call the September 19th Board of Commissioner meeting to order. Today, we will start out with the prayer from Commissioner Heberling and the pledge by myself.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the opportunity to meet here as elected officials and as taxpayers of our community. And Lord, we ask that every decision and everything that we look at today and vote on, we ask for your guidance and direction. We give you the honor and the glory and the praise. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard,
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling,
Here.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella,
Here.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee, here, District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart,
Present.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here. Thank you, Leslie. For today's agenda, you'll see a blue piece of paper that is going to replace the resolution that is in the agenda. If there are no other corrections or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with the one addition.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda with the change of the resolution.
I have a motion and support. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from September 5th.
Motion to approve.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Lee to approve our meeting minutes from September 5th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Minutes are adopted. You would receive your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. This will take us into commissioner reports, and we will start with Commissioner Ballard.
Okay, on Wednesday, the 6th, I attended the Argyle Township meeting. Nothing really earth shattering here at that meeting, pretty much normal business. Last night I was at Lamont Township. They had 3 members from the road commission there, gave an update, explained why some projects are getting delayed. Weather's really giving them fits this year. The rain, they've had a lot of culverts wash out, fail. Their annual hog roast is coming up October 6th at the Lamont Township Hall. I also last night was at the city of Marlette. Their pool building is coming on nicely, finally. They're applying for a USDA grant for a new patrol car. They received a grant for over $2,100 to purchase 3 preliminary breath test units and a calibration station. And they had their family fall fun day Saturday, which they had beautiful weather and probably the best attendance yet. It was really a nice event, a lot of events for kids, and they were all out taking advantage of it. It was quite nice. MRH, Marlette Regional Hospital, is planning a walking trail around the Heartland Center. That's their new health center across the street from the hospital. And that their preliminary design will attach that to the park walking trail. So that'll be a nice long walking trail for the community to use. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Roger. Gary?
Thank you. I attended this past 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I attended a Watertown Township meeting, and I think I brought up the fact that they have their chairman resigned, and now Bill Dixon is the new chairman. I think I brought that up in the last meeting when I was here. Also, I attended the Moortown Township meeting up in Snover, and because the city council of Sandusky meets twice, the first week and third week, I've attended both of their meetings. And last night I attended their meeting. It was a lengthy meeting for a number of reasons, but There was 3 issues that were addressed in that meeting. 2 of them, which is I've mentioned before, and I think we've read in the paper, the parking and the changes they're making in downtown Sandusky here over the next couple of years. And there was a number of business people showed up from the Sandusky area and in Sandusky, and they brought up some good points. And there was a lengthy discussion on some of the proposed parking that's been proposed by the city and by MDOT, and several people from the city of Sandusky and business owners from city of Sandusky brought up, I think, some very good points. It was well discussed. There was some very good facts given, and it was addressed to the city council and to the city manager. And out of that came a meeting next Monday at 5. The city council said, yeah, okay, we've heard you. We know there's some parking issues, and by what I have proposed, we want to take a look at, we want to work with you. And that's basically how the business owners of Sandusky come in. They didn't come in, with wild ideas. They come in with some facts that, we would like to be part of this. We don't want to come in here and tell you how to do it. We'd like to at least have an opportunity, to hear our side and what we think is right. And the other thing that was brought up was there's a house over here across from the sheriff department that's going to be put into a rehab or something for opiate. And I'm not sure if it's opiate, so don't quote me on that. So that was brought up, that was discussed, and I don't know if there was anything come out of that, but the parking issue was the biggest issue, what they're proposing to do. And I thought the business people did a really good job of presenting what they were presenting, and obviously the city council wants to hear it. So they're having a meeting again this Monday at 5:30, and they're going to try to work out their thoughts and differences with the city council. And then I believe the next first week of October, they're going to come back with those changes, and they're going to look at them again at that meeting. So I think that went very well. I gave my commissioner report, and I also, in my commission report, I alluded to the fact that we're going to have this resolution looked at today and voted on, and they were extremely happy with that. The people, and there was probably, 60 people maybe in a meeting, and I think they were happy that we're gonna make a stand on that. And the other issue was I let them know that Bryant Wilkie was going to be here, the head of our health department, and he's looking at opening back up MCDC, and I know that's on our agenda today. So they were happy with both. So I think it was a good meeting. It was a very positive meeting, and all the differences everybody had, I think there was some inroads made last night. End of my report.
Good. Thank you, Gary. Good report. Bill?
Port St. Alex continuing their CFA discussion. They had a town hall meeting in regards to that as well. Some harbor sidewalk work there, and then there's one council vacancy that they hope to fill soon. Applegate had their village attorney resign. He moved on to somewhere else, so they are working with the same firm there. And they had about $24,000 yet due in taxes. The village is going to be buying that auction property, so hopefully we'll be able to assist them with the brownfield funding to demolish that at some point. And they were compliant with everything that MDOT required of them as well in the village. Washington Township had some complaints about the wood key at the drive-in. There was that big festival a couple weekends ago. There were some issues with noise there, so they were looking into that. Road commission projects were completed in Washington Township, so they're happy with that. And a few of the townships I serve, the road commission's been coming out and making reports to them, telling them what they're working on. Biggest thing is getting gravel. They still want to put gravel down in most locations, however, can't quite get it. So they're hopefully be able to complete that before the end of the year. Also with them, they're having discussion with their ARPA money, and they want to improve their parking lot, but like everybody else right now, can't get a contractor in to do that work. So hopefully they'll be able to get that done before the end of the year. Bridgehampton had ARPA discussion as well. They approved a property exemption, had some revenue discussion, and appreciated the Zoom with our county clerk in regards to the election training. So everybody's, appreciates the fact that they're getting some heads up on that. I know a couple of locations had their ballot boxes show up already. So there's requirements for those. And then Sand Lake Township continuing their CFA discussion with the village as well.
And they're looking at some general electrical work there, contract work. And once again, they also had a road commission report. So that's appreciated from the municipalities in regards to the road commission showing up and sharing with them what they're doing. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Christine?
I went to the Brown City Fire Authority meeting and they're in the process of purchasing a new fire truck. So they're having some fundraisers that they want to purchase this in the future. And they had a pancake breakfast and they had a really good turnout for sponsorships before the breakfast was served. Then I attended the City of Brown City's council meeting. The Second Street project is done. They're looking at somebody come in and clean the tiles that's in the park because of the flooding that they've been having trouble with this summer. And they're looking at replacing the sidewalk in front of City Hall. I went to Flint Township meeting. And the second brine was done. They talked about the early voting 9 days impossible for smaller communities. And that was the same concern with Maple Valley Township. And I know Leslie's been working on this. Also, I attended Maple Valley Township. They have crushed stone ordered for the cemetery roads. Again, the early election. And they're looking to use their ARPA funds to replace the sign in front of their village township hall. And that's it. Oh, and also thank you for the road commission for doing the second cutting of weeds along the side of the road. Both townships really appreciate that. And they're doing it with no charge to the townships.
That's countywide.
Yeah.
They, a lot of I think all the townships had signed agreements for a second cutting, but there will be no charge this year. So,
The road commission's just gonna go ahead and do all that.
Yeah.
Because that used to be a big topic, because
Yeah.
townships used to hire independent contractors to do it within the confines of the town.
Well, they said because of the crazy weather this summer that usually your weeds start dying and now they're just growing so much and they want to cut that all down before the snow and stuff. So the roads will be better in the wintertime.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt things have been growing this year. The lawn never stops. Thank you, Christine. I myself have been working with Marion Township, the MREC group, which Marion Township is part of. This is related to the litigation to the taxable value of wind turbines. It sounds like Constellation and MREC are getting close to a possible agreement, and I've been assisting Marion Township working through that. Also, the resolution we have today, we talked about it briefly in our last meeting. The governor has called for the State Public Service Commission to handle all matters related to wind and solar development in the state. So I did a little research on the Public Service Commission to get a greater understanding of what that entity is. And what I found is it's only a 3-member board, which seems a little small to be making decisions like that. And also all 3 of the people that are on that board are appointed by the governor herself. So I think, people need to really kind of take a serious look at what's happening, because in the current context of zoning in your community, it is 5 people that you choose and elect that live within your community that now have the legislative authority to make those decisions. The governor wants to take that away and instill that authority in 3 people at the state level that she appoints. So it's pretty clear what her agenda is. I do think that people should reach out to their legislators and have conversations with them about this, because if the state moves forward on something like this, it's going to be a big issue, especially for Sanilac County. So we have a resolution today to share our opposition to it. I don't know if other commissioners have talked with your townships. I'm encouraging mine to pass resolutions of their own if they oppose this kind of state control. And it's something that we'll continue to move forward with. That is all I have. Evans?
I went to the Carlsville Council meeting September 5th earlier in the month. Nothing much coming out of there, except that Carlsville now has a new app that people can download, go on, see what's going on in the town, all the events, which Carlsville actually has a lot of stuff going on. So it's good to keep up on that. But I've looked at the app. It's pretty nice, easy. So if you're living in Carlsville and need it, I suggest downloading it. But that's all I got right now for that.
Thank you, Evans. John?
I just had Speaker Township. They were awarded a grant that they bought some new air packs for the fire department, and they're looking to get another grant to buy some new Jaws of Life for their fire department.
Is Speaker like the fire department in that area? Did they serve Fremont Township?
There's Elk.
In Brown City.
to the north, maybe
Yeah.
Brown City to the west there.
Is that all you had, John?
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. At this time, Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Thank you, John. Start off cement repairs. I know we've talked about those over at the EOC building. The cement is cut, looking at that being completed this week. As noted, finding contractors that have time to do stuff is difficult this day and age. So everybody's very busy. Things take a little longer than anticipated, but that should be finalized this week. Lake Shore is here. As you guys probably saw the van out front, they're working to get the boiler project finalized, hopefully this week as well. Put out an RFP for a new vehicle for motor pool. I know we had discussed a while back, looking at, I guess, the county motor pool and looking at maybe what should be transitioned out and what we could do. So put a bid out. I'll bring that recommendation before the board at the next meeting. Put it out for RFP. Also personally emailed some dealers as well because we weren't getting much response. It's even those types of things are difficult to get responses for. And actually I called a couple of dealers in a very basic, what I assumed was a basic vehicle, like a Chrysler Pacifica van. They said it's hard to get, and some only had hybrid vehicles, and so it's difficult for them to sometimes come up with. One of the dealers said he could try to do a dealer-to-dealer trade, but it's just a different. Yeah, it's tough. So had a meeting last week in Tuscola County, still looking at what we want to do regionally with that materials management planning, whether we want to get into, I guess, a regional effort on that or not. Next steps, we had discussed maybe bringing in some more folks because it's mainly been the recycling directors for the county and the county administrators. Carl Ostentowski's been a part of that as well through economic development for us. But we talked about maybe having a commissioner or two maybe join into those discussions in the future. Attended an open house in Bad Axe last week. There was, I guess, an open house regarding regional housing initiatives. There's as noted before, regional housing efforts are being made. Funding is trying to be procured from the state, and they're looking at what they can do to, I guess, focus areas that we should have. The regional effort is good because it gets more counties involved. The difficulty with that is our region has some very different dynamics. When you talk about Sanilac and then you go into like Genesee and Lapeer, and but overall, there are some commonalities we have that we're hopefully going to make some headway with. Chuck Bennett, the city manager in Brown City, invited me over to their chamber meeting last week. It was a good meeting, a lot of good ideas over there, good attendance, a lot of business owners. They're looking to see what they can do to just kind of help the Brown City area. So some very creative ideas. I think they're on the right track over there. Last thing, the budget, the county budget is, I have it, everything locked into place. Putting together the presentation, and I'll be bringing that before you guys, I would anticipate, either the first or second meeting in October, probably.
Very good. Nathan, regarding to the state pushing for the housing, how does that look for Sanilac County? Are they aiming to buy property and put up homes with state funding? And
Well, what they're trying to do is to gain funding, I guess, that then some of these initiatives can be addressed. Like some of the focus areas they're looking at is some housing for like elderly people. They're looking to assist folks with when they're evictions, like some efforts to assist with maybe keeping people from being evicted and tossed out of their homes. And they're also looking at new builds, like what can be done to provide some additional housing in the area. Because one of the things, and that's one of the commonalities we have, all the areas, they say when people are looking for homes, there's maybe some dated homes or some homes that maybe don't fit what people are looking for. People, I think the shift has gone from like in our area, there's a lot of larger farm homes maybe that are available, but younger people coming back aren't looking for maybe larger farm homes. They're looking for something that's maybe a little more affordable, maybe a little more like a duplex or something like that. So they're just trying to see what they can do to get some funding and efforts to, I guess, make some of those things happen. Finding the property is another challenge. Even we noted around here, there's a lot of land, but farmers don't want to separate their land out sometimes for housing efforts. So looking within the cities at what could be done.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the clarification, Nathan.
Yep.
Are there any questions for Nathan? Hearing none, Nathan, thank you for your administrator's report. At this time, I'll call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today?
I have a couple. First of all, you might be interested to know that 2 of the 3 people on the Michigan Public Service Commission, one is connected with GTE, one is connected with Consumers College. People are in other counties are also looking at passing resolutions to keep local zone. So it's happening all over. People are fired up. They're calling their reps. They're going to the commissioners' meetings. And Roger, you said, you said something, or Bill, you said something about gravel. Is it the unavailability of gravel? Oh, geez, oh, Pete. Oh, those were my.
Thank you, Jan. Any further topics related to today's agenda? Seeing none, we will move on. At this time, we have a presentation from My Community Dental Clinic. Brian?
Like saying up to the counter. So one good thing that Gary mentioned, the community, My Community Dentist Center is going to reopen. The second one is I'm going to be quiet today and allow Kim to do some talking for me.
So both are good news.
That's what I figured. Here's a little bit of additional information for you. Thank you.
You know, I'm just kidding.
I know that. Thanks. This is Kim Singh. She's a representative from My Community Dentist Centers, otherwise
MCDC.
MCDC, and I'm going to stand right next to her.
Okay, just wanted to say thank you very much for your time. I wanted to personally be able to attend today to reaffirm our organization's commitment to this community. And just as importantly to improving access to dental care, really big issue statewide. I have just our real high level organizational annual report. You do have a handout in your packets. We are a statewide organization. We operate currently 34 dental centers throughout the state of Michigan. And all are operated in partnership with local health departments. And again, the biggest target area are persons that are underserved, persons enrolled in Medicaid, typically adults that don't have other local dental care. Although I know this entire area is designated as a dental professional shortage area. We did open a facility, I get turned around right across the road there, in July of 2018. So we were open just under 5 years, and that facility unfortunately closed just after or probably during the pandemic, after the peak of the pandemic, due to the loss of our dentist. And without a dentist, we really couldn't keep the center open. And we had tried repeatedly over the course of nearly 2 years to secure a dentist. I think the dental industry, as we are hearing of shortages and contractors and supplies, it was, I think, hit as harder than many other industries. I think a statistic of registered dental hygienists in the state pre-pandemic employed 7,000, currently 4,000. So whether, again, they chose to retire or stay home with their children. So definitely some workforce challenges with dental. We're here to spread the news that we are reopening. Our official date to see new patients will be October. To see patients is October 23rd. We will be open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4:30. We will have a full-time dentist, 2 registered dental hygienists, 3 dental assistants, either 2 are registered, 1 assistant, and 3 full-time office staff. So again, some of them will be phased in, a couple are in training. The hygienists will be staggered in terms of their start date. Wanted to emphasize that when we open on the 23rd, our focus is going to be on previous patients that have been served there. We'll be sending out email, text messages to notify patients. So for the month of October, we really want to be able to focus on patients who have previously been patients of record. And then on November 1st, we'll open it up to anyone in the community that would need care. And again, our focus is really enhancing community health by offering quality dental care for all. Focus is on the underserved. We have an 800 number for new patient registration and rescheduling. Just before the first, in 2021, we served just under 2,100 unduplicated patients, just under 4,700 annual patient visits. We will and continue and do see same day emergencies. So again, if patients really feel they need to see a dentist that day, again, it's limited. It's, case by case, but we in 2021 saw 148 same day emergencies. Again, 74% of that patient mix were persons enrolled in some form of Medicaid, and another 8% had no dental insurance. We do have a sliding fee scale for the uninsured. So again, a self-pay based on income. And we also have a reduced fee schedule for our veterans. Again, we are just thankful for the partnership with the local health department. We, believe we have a successful track record in providing dental care. We ask for no financial commitment from the county or the health department. And we really believe that this expanded access is an asset to the community. It keeps people healthy, keeps them out of emergency rooms. And so thank you for this opportunity to provide an update. Again, we hope that there'll be some patience. It's going to take this team. Our dentist is an experienced dentist, so he has, been in dentistry, but to get a new team together, it's going to take a little bit of time to ramp up for that care. So I've committed to Bryant and the Board of Health that we will provide regular and ongoing updates. We've got a plan early on, so if the phones are ringing off the hook, we'll roll them over. We catch them in our centralized call center and do the best we can to meet those patient needs.
I'd just like to add that in January 2024, we're going to be enhancing care for kindergartens. We're going to be doing kindergarten oral health screenings with MCDC. So once they get their feet back on the ground here in Sandusky and moving, we're going to be moving into the schools a bit and helping those kids get screenings and oral health.
Right, that requirement is really targeted that, so it's like hearing and vision screening that's been around for about 75 years, that we want to ensure our children have a basic dental screening before entering school to identify any dental problems before school entry.
And the last thing for me is I just want to thank MCDC for sticking to us, coming back to our community, because it came close to them saying, it's just not going to work. We can't get a workforce. We can't get a dentist, a provider in our community. They worked hard in doing that, enhancing the ability for somebody to come to our community. So when they do arrive, I hope we can all give them a welcoming, and I believe the family may be moving to our community. So we're excited about that and getting a good provider for our citizens. So.
Very good. Any questions?
Do you foresee any collaboration with community mental health?
Absolutely. Yes, I know.
To reach out to their clients?
Yes, absolutely. They were part of that system prior to the closure and definitely will be part of that system. Yep.
We really anticipate probably being inundated rather quickly in this community. When we opened in 2018, there were over 300 people on a waiting list. And of our centers that are open, the bulk are already booking well into 2024. So the need for dental care throughout the state. So again, I think it's just communication. We always, if we do get booked out, we have same day cancellations, same day emergencies, and we'll do the best we can.
Brian, one of the things back when you opened up, it was kind of key to that Medicare covers.
Medicaid
Medicaid
yes.
covers it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's still key. And there is some new provisions. So we're hoping the remainder of the dentists in our communities start to look at the enhanced payments that are available today. It's a slow start when they enhance those in January and April, I believe.
Right.
So we're hoping more dentists will take in more clients on their Medicaid.
So Medicaid rates for adults have not been increased in 30 years. So as of January of this year, the level playing field, so private practice dentist gets the same for Medicaid adult as average commercial rate. That they're accepting.
Very good. Any further questions?
May I have your name again?
Kim, FINGH, Kim Singh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That will conclude our presentations today. We'll move into interviews. An interview for our Parks Commission position is Rob Fernande here.
Yes.
Welcome. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So born and raised in the Brown City area, graduated from Brown City High School and went on to Ferris to get my advanced degree in information systems. And from there, when, dealing with decks of cards, so that'll date me a little bit for a few of you. And then started with the Dow Chemical Company and retired from there after 35 years within internal audit as well as the information systems at Dow Chemical. We had about 20 years prior to retiring, we had built a second home over here back in the Brown City area, really to be close to family and to continue to enjoy the areas that my wife from Marlette area and then myself, really love this area and come back. And then upon retiring, we moved back to Flynn Township in the Brown City area. Upon which, coming back, the township board kind of quickly identified that I was back and wondered if I would be interested in some position on that Flynn Township board. And so I've been the clerk there for the last 2 years. So I've seen a few of your faces when we were talking some ARPA stuff here a few months ago. And so been involved in various community activities, and it provides me, as well with a good base to actively contribute and to be an asset to the Parks and Recreation Board as well. I think I bring some new ideas to the existing boards that I'm on, whether it be technology related or, not being afraid of a website or an online form or something like that. So, I would just look forward to that opportunity on the Parks and Recreation Board, along to help the residents of St. Helens County thrive and enjoy our local assets to the max. I mean, there's a lot of assets around the state of Michigan, and there's a lot of assets right here in St. Helens County. So.
Very good. Any questions for Rob? Well, we certainly appreciate your interest in serving on St. Helens County Board, and we appreciate your service to your community.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment that I think Rob would be a great addition to the park.
He will. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
Flynn Township was in my district prior to redistricting and I got to know Rob a little bit. Actually, he expressed an interest back when I was over there. And I, out of sight, out of mind, when this came up, I didn't even think about him. And an email popped up one day and I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, he would definitely be an asset.
Very good. Thank you for being here today, Rob.
Thanks for stepping up.
Okay, that will conclude interviews. At this time, we have a partial 3-year term for our Parks Commission. There is one person who applied, which was Rob. I entertain a motion to appoint him to a term expiring 4/8/2026.
I make that motion. I'll support it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Lee to make that appointment. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Rob. You are appointed to the Parks Board.
I'll get with you after the meeting if you can stick around.
Okay, up next. This requires no board action, but it is notification that Commissioner Sarkella has appointed Phil Assemacher to the Brownfield Redevelopment Board for a partial 3-year term expiring 12/31/2025. I see no need for 14. That'll take us into 15, which is general resolutions, and we'll use this blue piece of paper. Commissioner Sarkella, if you'd read that, please.
Resolution opposing legislation preempting local control for solar and wind developments. Whereas the governor of the state of Michigan has proposed the Michigan Public Service Commission be the sole regulating authority for solar and wind projects. And whereas by granting the Michigan Public Service Commission this authority, local control will be preempted. And whereas should local control be preempted, a county, township, city, or village would be unable to determine the location, size, setback distance, decibel level, or any other criteria for a solar or wind facility. And whereas should local control be preempted, a county, township, city, or village would be unable to determine requirements for construction, operation, use, or maintenance of a solar or wind facility. And whereas Sand Lake County is experiencing renewable energy development as well as the effect on local communities. And whereas 2023-2028 Sand Lake County Master Plan identified renewable energy as a high priority for land use policy development. And whereas Sand Lake County has studied the effects of renewable energy development on local communities as well as the local economy. And whereas local governments have historically played a critical role in zoning and land use, ensuring that renewable energy projects are compatible and respectful of their local residents. And whereas Sand Lake County identified the need for and developed a 2023 renewable energy guidebook to assist local units of government with renewable energy policy. And whereas local units of government provide opportunity for public input and discourse with a high level of accessibility to local residents. And whereas local control over zoning allows local residents to consider unique geographical, environmental, and social factors when determining siting and regulation of wind and solar projects that the Michigan Public Service Commission may not consider. And whereas efforts to preempt local control and declare the Michigan State Public Service Commission the regulating authority for wind and solar projects may have unintended consequences, including potential negative impacts on local communities, property values, and quality of life. And whereas all other types of energy facilities, while regulated by the Michigan Public Service Commission, must adhere to local zoning. And whereas this proposal grants far more regulating authority to the Michigan Public Service Commission than for any other energy source. And whereas the Michigan Association of Counties opposes any legislation action that may grant the Michigan Public Service Commission this power. Whereas Sand Lake County joins MAC in opposing any legislative action that may grant the Michigan Public Service Commission this power. Therefore, be it resolved that Sand Lake County opposes the preemption of local control in solar and wind siting and zoning. Be it further resolved that the board directs their staff to forward a copy of this resolution to the county's elected representatives in the Michigan Legislature and the United States Congress, to the governor of Michigan and all 83 counties, along with the Michigan House and Senate Energy Committee chairpersons. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the proceedings of the Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners this 19th day of September 2023.
I have a resolution presented by Commissioner Sarkella. Is there support? I have support by Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion?
I think it's a well put together document and resolution. And what better people would know how to run their cities, their townships than the people that raise their family, live there, make their living there. We don't need upper government coming in and telling us how to run our townships and our cities. So very well put together, and I fully support this and as we get ready to vote.
Well said. Thank you, Gary. And I do want to say that this resolution was a collaborative effort between MAC, Administrator Roski, Jody, and myself. Everybody worked hard to pull this together, and I think it does share Sand Lake County's position on the issue very well. So any further discussion related to the resolution? Hearing none, Leslie, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Sarkella,
Yes.
Commissioner Ballard,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Chairman Block,
Yes.
Commissioner Ehart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heberly.
Yes.
Thank you, Leslie. Resolution is unanimously adopted by the Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners. That will conclude resolutions. That will take us into committee reports, and we will start with Commissioner Moody.
No report.
Thank you. Evans,
I got HDC tomorrow, but nothing else in the last 2 weeks. So
you can tell us about that one in October.
don't try.
The ARPA committee met this morning. There was something brought to us through information and technology. It's related to the camera systems and recording systems that are used in the courtrooms for recording everything that goes on. Administrator Roski identified a need for a project to be completed in a certain time frame, and also identified that ARPA would be the best course of action as far as funding for that. The ARPA committee met this morning and agreed. So the board will see something in the October finance meeting related to the expenditure of those funds. And then also the planning commission will be meeting tonight. The master plan's getting close. The guidebook's getting close. I think tonight I see our chairman of our planning commissions here. I think we're going to be reviewing the master plan as a group. So the board of commissioners can expect that you guys should be seeing it sometime in the next couple of months. That's all I have. Christine?
I had a council on aging meeting yesterday and that all the people that were on the wait list for Meals on Wheels have now been taken off the wait list and that's been taken care of. And they're working on the new bylaws for this committee. And at the next meeting, it should pass and that will be brought before this body of government. And then I also had a child abuse prevention council meeting. And a survey is being circulated regarding pantry hours because there was some parents that were requesting that could they be open in the evening because it was too hard for them to get there during the day. So there's a survey online. Also, there's hard copies too that are going to be distributed to the people. And I have a copy of that hard copy. If anybody wants it, I can email it to them. And the community baby shower, they have 54 participants registered. 33 women are currently pregnant, 27 vendors. And so that should be a good thing. And then I had a health department meeting. And the health department is working on a new website. COVID-19 is on the rise. Obesity increased by 200% across all race groups from 1999 to 2020. Overdose deaths from fake prescription pills have more than doubled. Maple Valley, they're going to rename that the Maple Valley Community Center. That was voted on today. They've been hosting youth football fields on the lawn that people seem to enjoy that because there's an area for them to play their games and also parking. And they're going to hire a new nurse and social worker to put in Sandusky schools for the child wellness program. And that's it for me. Yes.
Excellent report. Thank you, Christine. Bill?
Pension board met last week. We had discussion on potentially reviewing our policy funding moving forward, in particular for the county's contribution, and that we sat through a most enlightening actuarial valuation report. That's something we just have to bite the bullet and do as commissioners. That's all I have.
Actuarial report. We appreciate it, Bill. Gary?
Thank you, John. Yes, Parks Board meeting, I'm going to refer that to that we had here a few weeks ago. Refer that to Roger. We had a lot of damage out in Lexington Park, as you know, and the crew out there and the manager's done a great job on that, clean that up. And we have really great parks in Sanilac County, and a lot of that goes not so much the current boards, but the boards and past. And we've really built that into great parks in our county, and glad to have you on, and it'll be a great asset. So I think our Parks Board over the years have done a great job, and I want to go back to the Lexington Park. That's pretty well cleaned up. We had another issue with the home out there that we provide for the manager, and the roof got bad on that, and a lot of other things encompassed in that house. And so over the past couple of months, we've looked at maybe putting a new home in, replacing that. We also got bids on repairing the old home and adding 2 bedrooms, right? And so in our last meeting, we moved to go ahead with repairing the roof, putting a new roof on, and the two new bedrooms. And I think your comment was we've had several people look at it, contractors, and it has good bones. So I guess it has a good structure. So if you want to add anything to that, so I just wanted to bring that up. Planning committee, John touched on that a little bit, and also the ARPA committee. I'd just like to follow up on the planning committee. We actually have 2 members in here today, plus John and I, that has served on that planning committee. And they've done a tremendous job, and not because so much maybe John and I serve on that, but we did hire a person, which is Scott's wife, back 2 years ago. And I want to tell you, she's done an outstanding job. She come with a lot of knowledge and a lot of background in that area of putting together a new master plan. And she did a great job of leading. She put together a steering committee. Over time, we met, I don't know how many times we met as a steering committee, and from all walks of life, from business people, from farmers, from different walks of life. And I can't say enough how great a job she did. And then also She went around into every township. Now, I don't say every township, every town, and sent out surveys. So we had a full circle of everyone in our community and our county, what we liked and what we disliked. And I think that turned out with some very good facts as we move forward with the master plan coming up. So a great job by everyone. And I think you're going to love it. And I just want to add a little blurb in here. I'm a Farm Bureau member, been for most of my life, because I guess I was an old farm boy. But a lot of the standards and the things they like to see in a master plan, not only for Farm Bureau and for farmers and for townships, really lined up with what we put together for a master plan. I mean, we were almost a mirror image. So I think, the team did a great job. So appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Roger?
I attended a Michigan Works meeting. Was that a week ago, Friday? John was there as well. Just normal business there, approving reports and whatnot. CMH, I had a program committee meeting last Tuesday. I have a board meeting next Tuesday. In regards to parks, the project agreement for the Evergreen project is currently in review with the DNR. So I hope to hear back from them possibly this week. Then we can put out for bids. Once we get bids, then we have to send the bids to them for review to make sure they meet all the specs, and then they'll allow us to make a recommendation to the board. And then, so, maybe by New Year's, I don't know. It's been a long process. I am happy to report work has started at Forester. That piece of equipment that we were hoping to relocate, they started to tear that down last week. Discovered a few areas that were not good, corrosion related and whatnot. They said they would not assume liability to move that piece of equipment and set it back up. So it was decided that we're just going to eliminate that. And in the spring, we'll look at what we have in the budget and possibly add some features out on the north end. But it's moving along. I believe Ventura, the Playscape people will be out there, I believe Wednesday, tomorrow, to start assembling things. So it's nice to finally see progress.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that some of that equipment won't be able to be moved, but I still think it's great that you guys had the concept of trying to reuse it, reutilize it.
Good intention, but it was almost 16,000 relocated. And then if you even start replacing parts, you don't know what you're dealing with in the ground and posts and whatnot. So it just wasn't feasible to relocate it. So I believe that's all I have.
Okay, appreciate your report. Appreciate everyone's reports. That concludes committee reports. There's no need for unfinished business, so we'll move into new business. And we will start with FA 124-23, approval of 2023 current claims.
Satellite County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2023 identified on the accounts payable report dated September 12, 2023 for the general bank account in the amount of $222,469.17.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella. Is there support?
Support.
I have support from Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 125-23, budget adoption, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Satellite County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 127-23, approval of lateral transfer program, Sheriff's Office.
You want to back up and do 12623 first, please?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks for catching that. FA 126-23, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to August 2023.
Not that I want to read all the numbers, but Satellite County Board of Commissioners hereby approve the payment of additional general fund bank accounts check charged August 2023 as follows: $887,140.17 in ACH payments, $58,940.29 in online bill pay, $457,555.68 in checks for a total of $1,403,636.14.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella. Is there support? Support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 127-23, approval of lateral transfer program, Sheriff's Office.
Sand Lake hereby approves a memorandum of understanding between the Sand Lake County Sheriff, County of Sand Lake, and the Police Officers Association of Michigan, POAM, Deputy Sheriff's Association for lateral transfer program for immediate approval, and further authorizes the board chairman sign the necessary document.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 128-23, approval of 2024 Child Care Fund Grant, 24th Circuit Court.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the 2024 Sand Lake County Child Care Fund budget for an immediate approval and further authorizes the board chairman sign the necessary documents.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That will conclude new business. At this time, I'll call general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Yes.
First I want to say bravo to the commissioners for signing that resolution. I hope we'll see a copy of that up at the county website so that we can share it with others.
I can look and see if that would be something that could be feasible.
Okay, I would appreciate that. I know this board is opposed to any lockdowns, any mandatory vaccinations, and any mask mandates because you've said so on the record. But one of the things we learned during COVID is that personal medical freedom was seriously impinged on by the public health system. So in that regard, I thought one thing the commissioners could do is to advocate for medical freedom. In many cases, patients, families with patients, medical advocates that they had hired to represent the patient were prohibited from using any type of treatment. And in the early days of COVID, before the vaccines, the standard of treatment in public health care was to do nothing until the patient got on a ventilator, at which time they would get a federal subsidy for every patient that went on a ventilator. This is not in line with miracle principles. And so I drafted what I thought could be the start of a resolution for this board to sign to start some discussion because to do nothing, even in poor countries, Mexico City, for example, and in a largely populated province in India, Punjab, they used early treatments and their per capita death rates are much lower than the United States, in the country known for the best medical health care in the world. So in that regard, I just started to give you some ideas here. It would be a resolution to support medical freedom in the Sand Lake County Health Department. I know you're not medical professionals. I'm not asking you to do that. Just asking you to support an individual patient and their family's right to medical freedom. That's all. I'm not asking you to make decisions or be doctors. So in light of the breach of human rights during the COVID lockdowns, the criminalization of breathing without a face mask, denial of life-saving treatments, and distributing and mandating what turned out to be a dangerous shot. And in an effort to prevent these actions from ever taking place in the future, we declare that we will not support medical discrimination on the basis of vaccination, booster, or mental health status, hospital interference with treatment protocols of a medical advocate, the use of anti-anxiety medications and sedatives without the approval of a family member or medical advocate, initiation of DNR orders without family consent, denial of proper nourishment to the patient, especially the severely mentally handicapped, medical kidnapping, that is not allowing the patient to leave a facility even after signing an AMA against medical advice to seek treatment elsewhere. We further declare that we advocate for the principle of individual medical freedom over public health protocols, upholding a patient's right to try, allowing the use of off-label or repurposed medicines such as ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, continuing treatment prescribed by a medical advocate, whether or not that advocate or family member is in attendance. Whereas there's no benign, innocent explanation for non-patients, the right for family members to administer off-label medicine, especially to patients declared as good as dead. Therefore, we resolve to support individual medical freedom over the COVID public health protocols practiced during the pandemic. I've done a lot of research. I have a lot of information. I'm not going to inundate you with it. But I have some copies here. This is prepared by, I don't think I have one for each. I'm so sorry. But Jody is so efficient. She can get Jody. This was prepared by Stand Up Michigan. It's just some good information for you as you advocate for your constituents against the threat of loss of job, because they are going to try again to mandate these vaccines. Supreme Court has ruled against it, but they're still going to try. So I got three, I think, yeah, maybe 4 copies here. Are there any questions?
Not at this time. We appreciate the information, Jane. If you
I'm going to
want,
leave a copy.
if you leave it with Administrator Roski, he can then,
Sure.
if there's a need to make more copies, he can do that.
Any strong reaction, opposed or against?
We're past our time for public comment, Jan, so we'll try to move along. Thank you for your comments. Are there any further public comments today?
I would also commend you guys for passing this resolution. Is there any plan for a potential lawsuit? Is that something that you guys can do?
I'm not aware of whether we would have the authority to do something of that nature, nor was that discussed.
Okay. I guess I'm kind of curious, and I mean, again, I would say this is a property rights issue. This is a local governance issue, and I get that. But at the same time, having also provided you guys with all the information with regards to the laws that have been broken at the state level, I am very much interested in having something done with regards to the criminalization of every municipal clerk here, this gentleman included. If you delete these poll books, it's just a violation of the law, plain and simple. And if these people are fine, in the Bureau of Elections telling them to do this, that's a violation of the law, and somebody needs to do something. I can't see why we're just throwing these people under the bus. I mean, anyone at this point could legally sue any municipal clerk that administrates an election in Sanilac County for money. I mean, is that the way things should go? Should we just start suing municipal clerks? I don't see. Go ahead.
The digital e-poll books that were deleted, do you understand there are hard copies of those?
And those are still available
Yes,
for 2 years afterwards.
yes,
So why are we deleting the digital copies?
because we do not want to get them confused with the next election. They want them off the laptop so that when we're preparing for the next election, they don't get confused.
And even still, though, we've still got to deal with the fact that these voting machines are dialing out every 15 minutes.
Dialing out where?
Canada, supposedly.
No. The digital e-poll books are the exact same as the hard copy poll books. There's a paper copy and there's a digital copy. So we keep the paper, erase the digital so that it doesn't get confused when we're preparing for the next election.
Okay, so then I guess the remaining concern that I would have is with regards to the concealment of voter data. I mean, that's something that we can sue directly, which we are suing.
But voter records are suppressed for a reason. It's not my business how you voted or when you voted.
Not that
I can't share your history.
I'm talking about the digital fingerprint of the ballots themselves, meaning my voting record, for example, and user ID codes being concealed.
Well, I can't speak for why the state removed those. As you know, I've explained to you that we had no control over that software.
I
and why.
understand that.
Yeah. So I don't really have a comment for that because I have yet to even hear from the state on why that was removed.
I think Wisconsin is a little bit ahead of Michigan on this one, and the fact that the state Senate there has voted to remove the Wisconsin Election Commission's director. Who we're going after here is Jonathan Brayton, Michigan director of the Bureau of Michigan Elections. So Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're going to we're probably just going to take 20 of us over and we're going to file these complaints with the sheriff's office. I've included all the laws that have been broken. I've included all the laws that have required them to act as well, which clearly states that these guys are, any law enforcement agent in the state of Michigan has authorization and is compelled to take these complaints and file them with the prosecutors. And the prosecutors are just as required to bring suit and bring a case against the Bureau of Elections. So this is how the laws were written in 1955, and it's going to happen one way or another. It's just, I think that we give you guys a lot of information here, and yeah, regardless, every single voter in this county has had their information zipped up the line, and they obviously have to come up with some sort of idea of how many ballots they need to stuff into the boxes in Flint, in Southfield, Detroit, and that's what they're harvesting. So
Appreciate the comments, Brett. Is there any further public comments today? Please state your name for the clerk and approach the podium.
Diana Link,
Could you say that again, ma'am?
Diana Link, Lenk. I'd like to thank you for your resolution. I'm a trustee on Washington Board, and I would like to know on the township level, what can we do to stop Whitmer from, do we do resolutions on the township level? Is that going to stop Whitmer from messing in our areas, or?
Don't really have all the answers to that, and this is public comment, so it wouldn't exactly be the perfect time. If you would like to stick around, we could have that conversation after the meeting. But in general, all units of government have a voice. We just used ours to pass a resolution. A township board, a city, a village could do the same thing. You're basically using the voice of that municipality collectively to suggest to the state that you do or don't want something to happen. That is the purpose of the resolution.
Okay. Because the reason I'm on the board is because it started with fighting for safe setbacks and everything else with the turbines, 8-9 years ago. And all that work that we did just to have someone that's.
I understand your concerns.
That's the way she is. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment today? Seeing none?
Do you want to
Hello, Diane. I'd like to start off by requesting the Board of Commissioners to follow through with the complaints that we're going to be filing regarding the locust standi lawsuit. I'm not coming here to argue with anybody, but I'm going to make this statement. When I found out about the locust standi lawsuit, I came down here to the courthouse to get my voter history, my voter change history, and my poll book data info. I'm entitled to that. Every voter is. I was given my history, my change history, and told I don't know anything about a poll book data. And to come back the following week and speak with Lori, who was the election clerk. Following week, I came in, my husband and I both. And I said I was here last week to get that info, and I was immediately told, oh, I know who you are. I've been briefed on you. Not a little bit odd, but that's what was said. I was also told, my husband and I both, I said, I'm here for the poll book data. And she said that's not going to happen. And I said, I'm asking for a copy of the 2022 poll book election data. And I was told that was deleted. So preserved for 2 years. That's not what I was told. I said, just to be 100% clear here. You understand I'm asking for the 2022 public data? She said yes. And I said, do you realize under MCL 750.248, I think it is, I don't have it right in front of me, that law states that you must keep this poll book data for 18 months on a federal election and for 2 years on a state election. And immediately went from it was destroyed to, well, then it's in the basement. I believe it's been destroyed. I asked the board to follow through with this, not because of just the locus standi lawsuit, but this would affect every voter in the state of Michigan. I also want to talk about Parks and Recs there. Last night at the city council meeting, it was still in Maumee regarding the incident that happened with the little child in the thrift store and the changes that are happening downtown. I think we're all dumbfounded. Why is a child's playground? I understand Mr. Hopp was a pillar of the community and he built that building over there that is now the House of Hope. There is a park right next to it. There has been multiple incidences. People are not going to take their children there. I think that was a total waste of money. I think it needs to be pulled out of there and relocated.
Diane, your time is up. If you could finish up, please.
I think I'm pretty much done, other than I want to touch one base on that COVID. The money coming in out of the lawsuit from Pharma there. I'm telling you, during COVID, the last time, cannabinoids were found to treat COVID. It treats the cell, it coats the cell, protects the body, and I'm 100% supportive of cannabis marijuana. Whether it be the whole plant, THC, CBD, CBG, I'm supportive of it. And I think that we need to look at that because in places that have used it, 25 to 50% reduction of opiate overdoses. Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Appreciate your comments. Are there any further public comments today?
I'm Dale Euster, and I agree with Diane on a lot of things, but not on marijuana. And so I have brought an article to give out to all of you, and it's from Gateway Pundit, and it's about the side effects of marijuana, which my family has suffered with it so greatly all these years. And when I met my husband, I didn't know that he was addicted to marijuana, but he was. And I have a whole family addicted to not just marijuana, but all kinds of drugs now. And so I wanted to pass this out because of what happened in my own family and because I have wanted an investigation in both counties and I've never gotten it. It just gets pushed aside because marijuana has become legal. Nobody will listen to me about what has happened, I think. And so I joined several organizations. I became a member of the Republican Party, and it was through Kathy Burden because she really agreed with me on the things that had happened. And I'm a member of Right to Life, and I have been ever since I found out my husband was involved in abortions up in Huron County years ago. And he needed treatment for his drug addiction. I couldn't get it. I couldn't stop him. He was a child sexual abuser. Nobody would listen to me. So that's why I joined all these organizations to try and fight for our children. And so I'm just passing these out because I'm a member of Right to Life. And we'd just like to have a lot of people present at that. It's not till November the 8th. in Lansing. And there's a life chain going on in Marlette and Lexington, on October 1st. And then there's this letter from Gateway Pundit, and it's all about a study that was done on marijuana. So that's all I want to say. And I just keep praying that the Board of Commissioners will help me to get my family investigated. I mean, they are criminals. There have been so many children and just in my own family sexually abused. And nobody will help me. Nobody will save them. So please just pay attention to what's going on here in this county with marijuana. Forester is destroyed by marijuana.
Bill, your time is up if you can hand out your handouts.
Oh. I just want my rights as a mother back. They were taken away from me when my husband accepted his job in Ubley because he was hired to educate them the wrong way.
Thank you. Are there any further public comments today? Seeing none, we will move on. I see no need for closed session or approval of closed.
If you got time to listen to me.
If you can make it very brief, that'd be appreciated.
I will. I'm Wilma Henderson, and like with Brett and Diane, I'm hoping you would support that local standing. And there's a We the County meeting tonight, and Scott's gonna be there to talk, so I'd appreciate. It's at 7 o'clock at Lifetime Church, so if you're interested, come out and give them a listen. And I've been at the Board of Commissioners meeting. It's been standing room only in there. You probably have heard and seen. The community is very upset about what's going on with this town, our roads, which was people were not informed. It was in the paper as a construction, but it was not described as a complete rehaul. These bump outs, this is a farming community for as long as I've been born. And businesses are very upset. This is going to cause businesses to leave. It's not going to encourage any businesses to come in. This town is going to be a dying town if this happens. And the next thing I want to discuss is the homelessness that these people are being brought in. These are not our people that are homeless in our town. And the mental health, this crisis is being created. And when I was waiting in town yesterday, and I have a picture of these two individuals on my phone, they were on the corner of the right across from East Highway, right there at the corner of the parking lot there. I witnessed the drug deal go down at 2:30 in the afternoon. And I followed that guy on the bike because I wanted to know where he was, because I see money exchanged. A piece of white thing was handed to him, which was heroin or crack, and some money come out of the pocket, cash money. I don't know how much the money was. That wasn't that close. That person went right to the homeless shelter. I am afraid for our women and our kids are going to be are being attacked. A woman spoke last night. She works in Walmart. She's afraid to walk to her car. We as a community need to stand up and put a halt to this. I'm all for supporting the people that live in our community. But when we're bringing people in, because I have an aunt that lives in Peck, or I have a cousin that lives in Bad Axe, and then that relation is coming from Detroit to our community, we're causing a big problem in our town and a big safety issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I see no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I have a motion and support to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?